In the city of Simpson, according to one man, an ongoing mortgage scam has happened involving this house. Current owner Brian Smith tells us his story.
And so, at one point, the lien disappeared.
Yeah, the lien disappeared. The fraud lien, not the original lien. When I went down to the county to request a copy of the original lien to see if it was filed, which it was filed and recorded. So they told me it was a second lien on file. So I asked about the second lien, and it had CIT Group Finance on it. And I asked them, where did that lien go? Because my parents never received that lien. Well, they said it was an envelope down in the county to be sent to Florida. And I contacted the title company in Florida, and they filed it in Florida. And I asked them, where is the lien at? They said they sent it to the lender. And I asked them, well, who's the lender? Caliber Home Loans. At that time, Caliber Home Loans didn't change their name up yet. It was called Veracrest back in 2009. They didn't change it up until 2003. So their office is located in Oklahoma. So when the lien came to Oklahoma, it kind of disappeared. So I don't know if Watson Mutual retrieved it or they destroyed it. But I believe Watson Mutual, I believe they sold it over to Watson Mutual because at the time, that's when the securities were being bought and sold.
All right, so you're going to show us the documents.
Yeah, this about the foreclosure. This right here is what was cited here under my parents' name. My mom passed away about 3 or 4 years ago, but I live here on the property and so on because I moved here with them. So I responded to the letter that came.
So there's a lot of different players in this game of fraud, and there's one last one that's the current one, the Selective Portfolio.
Yeah, selected Portfolio Services is who I'm dealing with. They go by SPS. They're a mortgage servicer for banks. Right now, they're servicing for Deutsche International Bank right now, and they're an investor, and they're trying to put foreclosure on the property to do of a note that has my parents' name and signature on there, but they did not sign the note, and they're trying to put foreclosure on the property. Mortgage fraud that has occurred is basically the main victims are the elderly, the grandparents, people that might be 50, 60, 70 years old that's paying the mortgage and probably don't realize the mortgage could be paid off. It's good to check their paperwork and see what bank they have been affiliated with. Just to see it don't hurt. Because I found out from Friedman, from a YouTube video, his name is Friedman, and if I didn't watch his video, all I know, I could probably be still paying on a mortgage that is fraudulent. So sometimes it doesn't hurt to look at those old videos, mortgage videos back in 2006, because sometimes they're very helpful. So they helped me out a great deal. Hi, this is Brian Smith, part 2 of the Brian Smith mortgage fraud victim. From the first one, this is the second one. Like an update what's going on now since that time. I'd just like to take it from the day that I was served with in the mail from a lawyer, Hugh Waters and Atkins, LP, attorney at law. Is a notice to vacate. It was sent to me November the 30th of 2021, and I sat there and got a judgment in the mail that was mailed from the Justice of the Peace Court, Deutsche Bank National Trust Company, same one been having troubles with since this whole mess started pretty much. So anyway, it was a judgment coming from Precinct 5 of Shelby County. And see that right there. And then on December the 15th of 2021, the honorable judge
Tracy Bradway for our Justice Court up here in Timpson that I put appeal in. So I put appeal in against the judgment on January the 4th of 2022. So when I put the judgment in, they were supposed to you send it down to the county down in Center in Shelby County. So when it was sent down there, I was waiting for the fee to be sent in the mail by certified mail. I don't know what I did with the certified, but it was sent by certified. So when it came by certified, this took place, I was saying, let me see, it was January the 4th. I say maybe same time around the same month of January. So around January the 10th. So I get the certified, and soon I got the certified in the mail. The mail carrier sometimes would just, honk the horn or whatever and this and that, but which that didn't happen. So when I got the certified from the county, I sat there and called the county to let them know that when I got the certified, I couldn't go to the mail office to get it because the carrier carries the letter with them. So I have to wait to the next day. So I called the county clerk, make sure the 21 days did not, occur, because sometimes they have issues with the mail. She said the 21 days has not occurred because I did not sign the certified letter or the certificate or whatever. So I waited the next day. The mail carrier didn't bring it. So I sat there and went up to the post office, and he said it's past 15 days. They have hold my certified mail longer than 15 days. So when it was sent back to Shelby County to the clerk, I sat there and I told her, did you guys receive that letter? So I could go up there and pay for the fee. But they never received it. So roughly like maybe 2 weeks passed or 21 days passed. So I called. They said they received it, my appeal. They took my appeal and sent it back to Tracy Broadway here in Timpson for the Justice Court, which this has never ever happened before. So when he received it, what happened from that point on, that I was not notified, what happened was I get a knock on the door from the Sheriff's Department of Shelby County. They post a writ of possession on the door because the lawyer for Deutsche Bank that's handling this whole fraud mess that has occurred, they contacted the judge thinking I didn't respond to my appeal. Didn't even know it was a post office. So by them contacting him and paying $250 whatever for the writ of possession, he goes ahead and signs it, and then sheriff comes up here and posts it on the door. Remember, this property does not have a mortgage. I'm not a tenant. I'm not a landlord. This is not a lease. This is not a rent. No mortgage. It's owned. Now, we're going to get to that part later. Now, in this case here, this was posted on the door. So I went to the door and took it off the door because the sheriff was still out there. And I told him, this house is paid. I'm the homeowner. I'm the homeowner of this home. So he said, well, if this is legally owned, well, you need to get a lawyer. Like I can afford a lawyer quick and fast. So he sat there and they said I had 24 hours. This was posted Tuesday on the 15th around 6 p.m. Wednesday comes. Nobody. Nobody didn't show up or nothing. Thursday, nobody. Friday, nobody. So I called the sheriff to see what's going on. He didn't know what's going on. He just basically told me, get a lawyer and so on. But he said he believes me that he knows this property's paid. Since what happened years ago with the whole mortgage scheme and the whole situation with people's properties, they're selling people's homes and so on. Well, like I said, probably from the first one, that my parents, my mom, my stepfather, got caught up in the scam. They don't have nothing to do with it. They're elderly people. Somebody got their information, gave it over to a bank, basically probably stole the money and put I would say, the bill on them. So when it went to default, that's what caused all this mess. So I didn't catch on to it till 2014 when I caught on to it. My mom was already deceased already. So from that time to this time, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of time to keep this together. Because sometimes if you can't afford a lawyer, you can become a pro se, legal agent, they say. I've been at it so long on this issue on this property. So far, I've been doing pretty good because I went to district court from the judge, showed her the paperwork, and that kind of turned out to a mess. That's for a whole other different part. But right now, I also like to show that this right here, it's the original deed of trust of 2004. We moved here January the 7th of 2004. And it was American Wholesale Lender and Countrywide. Well, Bank of America took over. I can't remember what year they took over, but they're the loan servicer on the property when it was a mortgage with my mother and my stepfather, Mr. Woody Joe Greer. I just like to show that, oh no, that's not it. I like to show that that is proof that shows that the property is paid off here, and what is recorded on record is the lien itself right here. This is coming from the copy from the county recording office, and also I have the letter that comes from the county recording office when it was sent to my parents. But I went down there and they gave me a copy because they said it's good as the same. So it shows proof right here. And also I requested from Bank of America, like I say, they were the original loan servicer. They also requested a payoff and satisfaction letter that that is I requested from them. They call it the letter, payoff satisfaction letter is basically like a receipt to confirm that your property is paid. That's what the IRS sat there and kind of say keep that in a safe place and whatnot. So it shows proof. So you sit there and you ask yourself, well, who's the show proof that I'm the owner and so on, because on the deed records, if you went under deeds, you're not going to find my name nowhere on there at all. Because the county recording office, they put me under the grantor and grantee. That'd be under the real estate index. And you would see my name, Brian Smith, under my mother's name, Mary Greer Estate. That right there says grantee and grantor. So if anybody knows what grantee and grantor means, it's basically it's part of the deed. So like they say, if your name appears as grantor or grantee. But I like to show, if you see as a grantee, do you see Deutsche Bank National Trust Company anywhere on there? No, because a bank, you go on record, if it shows grantee on there, it will show a bank because a bank shows interest in that property. Because if the loan is not paid off, they have interest on the property. Meaning if you don't pay the loan, it goes in default, foreclosed, and the whole thing. Usually they give it over to the trustee to handle all that. But like I say, there's no trustee on this property. I am dealing with according to this lawyer I contacted in Jacksonville, Texas. He works for a lawyer title company up there. I contacted him and talked to him on the phone. And his name is Cliff Williams of Cliff Williams, Attorney at Law. And he sends me an email March the 17th of 2020. After we discussed it on the phone, he sends me this email because his contract to use it is filed in Cherokee County. So he sends me this email. He says, I recommend that you read this following to the law firms that you reach out to in effort to provide them a summary of this case. So he says this case is a fraudulent deed of trust. Or it could be a lawsuit. He said a deed of trust was filed in Cherokee County, Texas, for a home in Cherokee County. Volume 1823 page, located in Shelby County. The lender, Washington Mutual, said they lend the amount of $154,000, but we did not receive, and they cannot prove receipt of any funds whatsoever. A certified copy of the 2006 deed of trust from Cherokee County was then filed in Shelby County in 2013, which perfect the lien in Shelby County, upon which the lender, Chase Bank, began foreclosure proceedings without any proof of funding. Deutsche Bank bought the home from a foreclosure, it was like a foreclosure sale, and is now seeking a writ of possession. So he recommends me, you need to call a law firm in Houston or Dallas specialized in consumer fraud, who will take this on a contingency. So this is what he recommends me to do, because this is what he sees out of this whole thing. When he gave me this email and he told me that, now he sees what's going on this property. Now, I sent this email to Hughes Water and Atkins, Dominique. She sends me an email back, but I didn't print that out yet. And she wants to know how this attorney sees it as fraud. Now, I haven't got that information yet because I had to call his office to let him know about, the lawyer wants to know about how did he see, or did he see this as fraud. So instead of me explaining that, I want him to explain it over to her. So it's like attorney to attorney. So I hope that turns out well. So that was today. I don't know what today is. What's today's date? I can't remember today. I think today is March the 22nd and so on. So I got to see how that turns out and see what he says when he, talked to her about that. But anyway, so since then, from that time, I went to file a. I went to go file a motion in the Justice Court to stall or have a hearing, I was saying, on this whole issue that is going on. It's called Emergency Motion to Stay a Writ of Possession. And it says Brian Conrad Smith of Timpson in Shelby County, Texas, makes oath and says that I, Brian Conrad Smith, should not be put out by the sheriff because I am a legal owner of the property and have legal documents to prove so. 2, I request the judge to stop the sheriff from putting me out due to the fact that I have evidence of legal ownership. 3, I request the judge to allow me a hearing so I can show in person the evidence supporting my request. 4, and then emailing it to the lawyer, Tony Agrexia, for the law firm. So I went and brought this up there to Tracy Bradway. I brought it up there to him yesterday, Monday. So that'd be Monday, I think the 21st of this year. So I took it up there and I brought my neighbor. I don't know if I should say his name or whatever, but I brought my neighbor up there and to be a witness. And soon I gave this to Tracy Bradway. This is what he said that was didn't make any type of sense. I take this right here to him, right here. He takes it, he looks at it, and he sit there and say, okay, you signed it, this is the copy, right? I say, yeah, this is the copy, so he keeps it. He takes it and he says, I'm not going to sign it right now. I'm going to wait until the sheriff going to execute this first, and then I'm going to sign it. Does that make any sense? That don't make no sense. He's going to hold my motion, wait till the sheriff throws me out, and then he's going to go on and sign it. That's our justice system here in Shelby County, Texas. That is Tracy Bradway for our justice court, which that court is for what? For the people. So people can be treated fairly in court. You have your plaintiff, you have your defendant. Every court does that. Both sides have to be treated fairly. In his court, he don't see it that way. Why? I don't know. But when he sat there and he said he's going to sit there and hold my motion, okay, until they throw me out on a house they don't even own, and then he's going to sign it. That doesn't make any sense. The way I see it as Deutsche Bank, they invest with property. Okay, that's what they do. I wouldn't recommend nobody buy anything from Deutsche Bank. The way it sounds, that the lawyer contacts him, talks to him, you know, and he knows about this house, he knows about this property. Racism comes in many different fashions, in different ways. I feel that he wants me thrown out of this house because I don't think they believe black people should even live in this area. Okay? So I think he worked out some deal with that lawyer so I could be tossed out so he could try to make a deal with them. Now, I could be right or I could be wrong. That's the way I kind of see this, like a whole corruption type of deal. Because it doesn't make any sense. I never had any problem filing something into the court system. But coming across saying, oh, well, I'm going to hold it until they throw you out. This concerns with a hearing. And he always saying, you need to find a lawyer. I've been a pro se at this a long time. The way I found this out was from HWA, Attorney at Law. And it tells you about how everything, you know, that you can't put a motion on that. And it also explains how, you know, you fill it out and so on and what's the reason and everything else. So, like I say, you always do your research first. Do your research, make sure everything is good and accurate before you file any type of motions or appeals, okay? So, I filed this because if this was not good at all, he would have sat there just handing it back to me. So, but anyway, like I say, right now, I just gave that to him Monday, and I think it was that day when I gave this to him, he turns around, looks at the calendar, where Mr. Smith, I signed that written possession, it was done on the 15th. So the sheriff should be on the way because I just got off the phone with him. He told me that Monday, about 9 a.m. around that time when I went to go see him. He said that and said, well, the sheriff should be coming. Okay, I go back home, okay? He's there from 9 to 12. Come back home, so somewhere around 10, I see two sheriff's officers drive past, going towards his office. So, I'm getting the mail, turn around, I see a sheriff officer drive past. Now, if they saw this or read this, I don't know, maybe they said something to him or they got a copy of it. I don't know. But they didn't come by here, like he was saying. He told me they were on their way, which they did come, but they didn't come by the house. They didn't even come by here, so I don't know. You guys can figure that one out. Okay, I just like to show that Deutsche Bank, right here, Deutsche Bank saying they're the plaintiffs, okay? They're plaintiffs. But I found out that from the office of the Secretary of the State, Certificate of Facts, they ran everything on Deutsche Bank in the state of Texas, and they found no records of them at all. So by finding no records of Deutsche Bank, okay, the penalties and stuff that is connected with the Certificate of Facts, you're not registered in Texas, because they take it very seriously. It says certificate of account status are often confused with a certificate of facts status in the Secretary of the State. The certificate of facts, coming from Texas Secretary of the State, John B. Scott is our secretary. It says certificate of facts status is a certificate issued by Secretary of the State that serve as official evidence of the entity exists or authorized to transaction business in Texas. A certificate of fact status proves a statement of any entity status as well as the entity current legal name and date of format of registration. Now, by that, them saying that, it also says that, I like to say, I'm looking through it real quick here. Okay, by saying that, I went on to their franchise tax account status on the same website. There's also concerns with the certificate of facts. It says, with the certificate of facts, it says, will be denied the right to sue or defend itself in a Texas court in which directs or officer will be liable for the debt of the entity. See Texas Tax Code 17.1.255 essential link. And so I got that. But the thing is, I took this to Fairchild and Price, located in Center, Texas, and I showed this to Zach, the attorney. So when he saw this, he said, this is correct. He said, you need to take this to the judge, and it confirms they cannot file a lawsuit. If they can't file a lawsuit, they can't be the plaintiff. See? So Deutsche Bank cannot be the plaintiff. They cannot be a plaintiff. Because according to this, they don't have rights to sue. Now, if they go and register with the state, and what the state requires, it'd be a whole different thing. Why you have to register with the state? So the state can know who you are, just in case if you get sued, tax reasons, or anything like that. They like to have you on record if you're doing business, because you don't know if you're smuggling something into the state or anything. So that's why they require that. It is penalties on that. So if you're dealing with dirty lawyers on this type of issue, like they say, money talks, BS walks. In this case here, by me having the proof and everything on this property, like I showed earlier, the full payoff and everything from Bank of America, like I just showed you the lien, the release of lien and everything, that shows proof that this home at 510 Ross Graves does not have a mortgage on it. It has an owner connected to it. That's me. It's me right here. So until then, I'm talking with lawyers right now, and then with the motion that is filed up there, the JC Court, or the Justice of the Peace Court. So right now, still in the fight. Hope this mess will be over again, that I can come back with number 3 and get some good positive news, how things turn out. But until then, the fight still carries on. Till next time, same place. Have a good one.